build out an advanced table in HTML. I've started out with a basic template doc we've been using during this class. And for our title, we'll call it Advanced. Advanced table in HTML. We're going to throw in a little bit of style on this one. It'll help us kind of control some of the table elements that we want to, because we want to lock down some width and height elements, change some font sizes, and align some text elements. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do an internal style sheet in CSS. So if you remember it, style type equals text /CSS, and we're going to go ahead and close out that style. Now within those style tags, we're gonna set some style. We're gonna set some styles for one of the table selectors, which is the TD. If you remember, we played with the TD a bit. We're gonna say TD, or the table data. We're gonna set a width of, width colon 100 px, which will make the width of each of the cells 100 pixels. Height colon 100 px semicolon. So the width and height of each of the cells, the table data cells, will be 100 pixels. So we'll make them little squares. Let's set the font dash size. So again, these are some properties and values we're setting in CSS to 9 point, and we're going to align all of the text center in the in each of the cells, and that should give us some style elements that kind of lock down what we want to do there. Now we're going to move down into the body of the document and build out the table. We're building out a multi. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and a number of different cell structures within those rows, and you'll see the finished product when we're done. The first thing we start out when we're doing our tables is we say table border equals 1, and we're going to say cell spacing equals 0. Now why would we do that? Well, we want to set the space between cells to 0, so there's absolutely no space. It doesn't give any of that space. Now we're going to do a table row, and then a table data with a call span. If you remember, call span is how many columns we're going to span, equals quote 4. So that's going to do 4 of the columns, and we're going to name this row 1 cell 1. So I'll just type it all the way out, row 1 cell 1. And then close out the table data, and then close out the table row. That does our first row. Next, we're going to go table row, and then table data, and this one's going to have a row span equal to 2, and that will span 2 of the rows. So, and this will be called row 2 cell 1. Slash table data. Close out that table data. We'll start a new table data. Now right there we made a little mess up, so I've got to pull that out. So the next table data is going to be just a row 2 cell 2, and then close that table data, and we're going to call span 2. So that's 2 columns it's going to span. I don't know if you can visualize this as we're typing. You get a little bit better as you go along doing these. So this will be row 2 cell 3. 3. Close that table data. Close the table row. Start a new table row. So table row, table data, call span equals 3, row 3, cell 1, close that table data, and close that table row. Start a new table row, start a new table data, call span equals 2, row 4, cell 1, close the table data, row 4, cell 2, close the table data, open table data, row 4, cell 3, close the table data, close the table row, and close the table. Let's go ahead and save that and take a peek at what that looks like in the browser. So there's our more advanced technique using, call spans, row spans, call span, call span, call span. We really only have one row span in the deal. All the rest are call spans and then just regular cells. So that's a more advanced table. If we go back, we can look at what's going on both with the row 1, cell 1. So what's happening here is in this call span 4, what it's saying is it's going to span 1, 2, 3, 4 of the columns. So that's what's happening in that first row, and then you close it out. So it says take that whole cell and have it go all the way across all of the columns, which are 4 columns. Next thing in the next table row is you have a couple things going on. Your first table data row spans 2, so that's what brings this down here like this to both rows. And then you have your row 2, cell 2, which is the next table data element. And then you have a call span of 2 that goes across 2 columns right here. So that's your last element there making up those. We go to our next row, and this may be a little tricky for some of you to get, but basically all you're doing is a call span of 3. So it goes across that whole column, all those 3 columns. And why didn't we have to do anything here? Because it's already made up in that row span of 2 right here. That row span of 2, that second row span right there makes that up. So all we had to do is call that. So the next and final table row, you have a call span of 2, which spans this column and this column, and then normal cells on the last 2. You close out your table row and your table data. So that's a more advanced table.